aids are which supports the teaching learning process. Learning resources are used to make teaching learning process effective and interesting. Without these teaching aids, if you teach, the classroom will become monotonous. Children will not show any enthusiasm. Children are interested to learn from something else. They are very effective. They shows a kind of interest in the children. They are very important in the teaching learning process. Learners become more active and involved when we use teaching aids. Teaching aids are different types. With the help of these teaching aids, learning resources, learners' capacity to think and imagine, these two are enhanced. Today there are number of resources, number of teaching aids are available. Olden days we used to use only blackboard. Nowadays from blackboard we have shifted to multimedia resources. There are different types of teaching aids are available. Instructional materials are very significant in teaching learning process. These are very effective tools. Teachers should utilize number of variety of teaching aids to explore the children's knowledge, to add the knowledge, to broaden the concept and arouse interest among students. There are different types of teaching aids. Based on this classification, four types: printed aids, visual aids, AV aids, audio visual aids. According to NCERT, this classification is major classification. This is the NCERT classification. It has been divided into two types: projected aids and non-projected aids. Projected aids are those where we project all these whatever information on a screen. With the help of big screen, child is able to learn. That is called as projection. We are projecting on a big screen, then it is called as projected aids. Under projected aids, we have films, film strips, opaque strips, opaque projector, OHP projector and slides. Non-projected aids, there are 5 types: graphic aids, display boards, 3D aids, audio aids, activity aids. In detail, we will learn about all these teaching aids today. So, majorly teaching aids are classified into two types: projected aids and non-projected aids. Under projected aids, films, film strips, opaque projector, OHP and slides. Non-projected aids have been divided into 5: graphic aids, display boards, 3D aids, audio aids and activity aids. Under graphic aids, cartoons, charts, comics, diagrams, flashcards, graphs, maps, photographs, pictures, posters. Under display boards, blackboard, bulletin board, flannel board, magnetic board, pegboard. Under 3D aids, models, markups, objects, specimens, diagrams, puppets. Puppets means puppetry. Audio aids are radio, recordings, television, field trips. Then finally, we have activity aids, demonstrations, dramatics, experiments, computer assisted instruction, programmed instruction and teaching machines. In detail, we will see one by one in today's class. Audio resources. The audio resources are the ones which make use of auditory senses. Our auditory senses are ears, where we hear and learn. So, that is why it is called as audio resources. Individuals learn by hearing. So, listening to radio, audio recordings, songs, all these comes under this category. These are called audio resources. Visual resources. Visual resources make use of sense of sight. With the help of eyes, which we see and learn. So, by seeing we learn something. There these visual resources are useful. For example, blackboard, something we write on the blackboard, that is a visual, globe, chart, pictures, PPTs, all these come under these visual resources. So, we will read what are the definitions about these teaching aids. According to Kinder James, audio visual aids are any device which can be used to make the learning experiences more concrete, more realistic and more dynamic. More concrete means it is not abstract, it is very particular to a particular picture or a photograph or any other object, specimen or a model, and more realistic and more dynamic, which enhances learning. Then according to Burton, audiovisual aids are those sensory objects or images which initiates or stimulate and reinforce learning. In this definition, he says that whenever we bring such a type of audio or video aids to the classroom, child will be very curious to know about what are those teacher has brought today, something she is going to show to us. It is very interesting and their imagination also enhances. The child is ready to learn, readiness, it gives readiness to learn and stimulates the child, and after seeing or participating in the activity, the child is able to reinforce his learning. Then according to good audiovisual aids are those aids which help in completing the triangular process of learning, that is motivation, classification and stimulation. Child should be ready to listen to our class, whatever we are teaching. That is why motivation is very essential and important. Then it stimulates their behavior towards the class, whatever we are teaching. According to Good's Dictionary of Education, audiovisual aids are anything by means of which learning process may be encouraged or carried on through the sense of hearing or sense of sight, both. In audiovisual aids, with the help of audiovisual aids, when we teach, the child is able to hear and see. The purpose of these audiovisual aids are to supplement and enrich teachers' own teaching to make teaching learning more concrete. Our teaching learning process will become more smoother. The child is able to understand perfectly all the concrete material which we are showing. Child's concepts are very clear. It enhances their learning. To serve an instructional role in itself, when we show certain type of video clipping or a video, audio, anything, child is showing a kind of curiosity and he utilizes all his senses and learns better. To create interest among the group, to make teaching as an effective process. The main objective of any teaching learning process, whatever concept we are explaining, the child has to understand and apply in the everyday situation. So, here that effective teaching process, we can make them better learners. Advantages of these teaching aids. AV aids helps in effective perceptual and conceptual learning. Learner perceives the knowledge very effectively. Perception is very good because he is utilizing all the 5 senses, sometimes 2 senses, 3 senses, depending on the type of audiovisual aids, and concepts are very clear for the child. AV aids help in capturing and sustaining attention of students. Whenever we are showing any AV aid to the child shows more interest, it creates interest among the children. They will not be disturbed, they will be looking at that, how the process, how it is, what it is, what are those teaching aids, very curious, it arouses interest and motivates the student to learn. So, AV aids are useful in new learning. After this, what will happen next, what it is, how it will be, how it looks like. Child curiosity, with his curiosity he can go home and search for another teaching aid or that type of object or a specimen or something. AV aids help in saving energy and time of both the teacher and student. So, it saves so much energy. Teacher need not remember everything and explain over there. If teaching aid is there, it is very good supportive material and it won't take much time. Child will be able to understand very easily. AV aids provides realistic experiences, almost the same kind of specimens whatever it is there in the book, that real time objects, comics, cartoons, all these AV aids help the child to learn better. Then AV aids can meet individual demands. Each child is unique. Some children by seeing something they will learn. Some children by hearing they will learn. Some children both they require. Some children only with the help of reading also they will learn. But when we show all these teaching aids, child is participating in that, all his senses are participated, so child is able to learn more perfectly. AV aids are useful in education of masses. With the help of these teaching aids, we can teach to a large group of people, large number of people. It is very easy to handle large number of people. So, masses we can utilize these teaching aids. Characteristics of good teaching aids. Teaching aids should be meaningful, purposeful, it should motivate the learner, accurate in every aspect whatever we are making, showing to the child. It should be simple and low cost material we can use, improvised operators we can prepare. It should be less cost, large in size, up to date and easily portable. Portability means we have to take that to the classroom. We should not make any AV aid in a big size where we cannot lift it. Okay, we have to take that into the classroom. It should be handy. Portability means. Principles to be followed, the effective teaching aids. What are the principles we have to follow? AV aids material should be functions as a integral part of the educational program. It should be centralized under specialized direction and leadership in educational program. Advisory committee says that it should be flexible, portable, it should not take much time to explain and it should be legible. Then projected AV aids. Projected aids means when we are projecting it on a big screen. That smaller one, we are small teaching aid whatever it may be, we will keep under overhead projector or a whatever it may be, projecting on a big screen, for example TV, overhead projector, LCD projector, all these. Under this we learn today overhead projector. The overhead projector is the most used in all AV aids. It protects, it projects with the help of transparencies. We have to write it on a transparency and keep it on the overhead projector. We can write or draw diagrams on the transparencies which we utilize in the classroom. So, child will be seeing it in a big way, big screen, on the big screen. The purpose of this overhead projector is to develop concepts and sequences in a subject area, to make kind of main teaching points. These transparencies are very useful, means essential points we can write on these transparencies and project it on overhead projector. Then to test students' performance, then the remaining students can observe while we are projecting something on the overhead projector on the big screen, and to show the relationships by means of transparent with the help of colors we can utilize different colors on the these transparencies. Then it permits the we can utilize this in a big crowded classroom also, big classroom. It enables the child to learn faster. We can it is not time consuming, within the it saves the time, within the time period we can complete our syllabus or portion whatever it may be, because we are writing all the main teaching points. It is very handy for the child to learn also. It gains attention, grabs attention of the students, that student will be able to understand each concept we are writing in a simpler form. Transparencies. Transparencies are popular instructional material which we utilize on overhead projector. Okay. It is a 10 to 10 inch sheets, on it with black pen or color pens, marker pens we can write. These transparencies are utilized on OHP. Okay, guidelines for making effective transparencies. We can write something or note, make some meaningful points, and use simple lettering style. We have to use diagrams, and message should be clear and simple, and key messages, use color letterings, color pens we can utilize, and keep it on the overhead projector. Then it gives face to face interaction. It can be used in daylight conditions. Then it can enhance the teaching learning. It is easily available. Any teacher can make use of these transparencies. Slide projector. A slide is a small piece of transparent material on which a single pictorial image or scene we can put. We cannot write on these slides. Slides are made in the laboratory. On it we have 2 into 2 35 mm camera.
Yeah, please continue.
Yeah. Advantages: it requires only filming, processing, mounting. All this mounting is by self or lab in the laboratory. These film strips are colorful, realistic. These are the reproduction of original material. Preparation with any 35 mm camera. These are very easy to access and easy to handle. It can be stored very easily, rearranged for the different purposes. It can be combined with narration. Whenever we are showing these slides with the help of slide projector, we can narrate and we can explain by showing slide one by one. We can utilize in groups or individualized purpose also. Film strips are sequence of transparencies or still pictures. These are individual frames. A tape recorder narration can be synchronized with the help of this film strips. We can show like a movie. Then each strip contains 12 to 18 or more pictures. These are also still pictures. These principles are film strips can be selected very particularly to show certain type of things which child is not able to go there and see. That type of films we can pictures we can collect and keep it in a film strip. Okay, a film strip need to be more specific study. Film strips stimulates emotions, it builds the attitude, and child is able to learn very perfectly. This is real time picture we are taking and keep it in a strip, film strip it is called as. Types of film strips: discussion film strips, sound slide film strips. Advantages: they are compact, very portable, easily handled, and always in a proper sequence we have to maintain. It can be supplemented with recordings. These are useful for group or individual study. Non-projected aids. Up to this much time we have learned about films and film strips. Under projected aids we have OHP, films, film strips. Then even radio comes under audio aids. Non-projected aids are audio aids. Projected aids are those where we can see them on a big screen. Non-projected aids where we can hear only, not on the big screen. We can see those specimens, models with our eyes. Under this, graphic aids. It is combination of graphic means written part, letters, whatever we have somebody else written or whatever it may be, textual material, pictorial material, both are there in graphic aids. Graphic aids consisting of both pictorial and letters. material, it is designed to visualize logically, it is sequence, logical visualizing of relationship between facts and ideas. Here we use these graphic aids for comparison and classification and organization and structure and process development in a sequence. It includes the following: charts. In NCERT classification, I have read all those which comes under graphic aids, charts. These are more visual symbols and used for summarizing and writing main key concept, comparing, contrasting, and a kind of pictures we can write. While explaining the subject matter, we can utilize these graphic aids, pictures, numbers, materials, graphs with the help of this chart. It should be written legible, clear. On a chart we should not write a total story and show it to the child. Only headlines of that or main key points of the story, whatever it may be, then teacher has to explain. Definition of a chart. Chart is defined as a visual aid which depicts pictorial as well as written information in systematic way to summarize, compare and conclusion also. Then there are different types of charts. What is the purpose of this chart? To visualize any item. Only these are all visual aids to highlight important points, key points of the text and summarizes and outline material, and we have to show a continuity in process. Then sometimes to explain certain type of problems where we can utilize these charts. Charts are different types. Flip chart. A set of charts related to specific topic have been tagged together and hang on support stand. The individual chart will carry series of related material or message in a sequence, that is called as flip chart. On a specific topic, we have to write all those key concept, key words or hard words which we use in English. We have to utilize this flip chart. It is to be arranged in a sequential order, logical order. Then we can show number of sentences or words on a flip chart. Then flashcard. Flashcards are a set of pictures. These are paper cards, variety of sizes, color charts also we can utilize. But on flashcard we can write sentences, words, or putting some pictures. We can draw on with a color ink, color papers also utilized. But these are very handy. It can be utilized in small groups only. To teach only small group students, to teach the students, to give health education, or these are very beneficial in small groups only, not for the large group. Then we can utilize in a group discussions these flashcards. To prepare these flashcards, we can take 10 into 12 inches or 22 into 28 inches commonly used size, 10 to 12 cards and any topic. Cards can be up to 20 cards we can make, like the slides we are made now. Those days they used to utilize those flashcards to show to the smaller group children. Now also we can utilize for the simple concepts. Preparing a picture, drawing a picture on those flashcards, then we can give it in the groups, small groups only. Advantage of flashcards: to introduce any topic while presenting. Before introduction, you can give some pictures or some words. We can ask the child to read and tell what it is. Then child is very curious to know what lesson we are going to teach, what we are going to learn today. And it can be utilized to apply information already which they have and to test their knowledge and to apply in the new situations. It can be used to review a topic whatever they have already learned, and it can be used for drill and practice purpose in elementary classes, Or higher classes also, whatever that hard words we say, no? Those words we can write it on, and to learn the spellings correctly we can utilize these flashcards to develop the cognitive abilities of recognition and recall of the students. Child has to identify, recognize that term and correct spelling he has to write to retrieve information from the his mind. Okay, so recognition and recall. Then it works as a supplementary aid. Child, these flashcards can be kept in their pockets, and whenever they are traveling or going somewhere, they can utilize these flashcards and learn also. It is very useful. Means these are very handy. They can kept in their pocket and learn whatever the material. Simple concepts they can write, or difficult words they can learn while going somewhere, traveling, very handy. Then these are not useful for large groups. Then these flashcards are it will get spoiled very soon, and preparation of these flashcards takes time, because we are writing only simple concept, small concept, or some words, or only one picture we can write, not like chart. Posters. Posters are the graphic aids with the short, quick and typical message which we can show it on. It captures attention. Whenever we see a movie poster, for example I say, on the movie poster there will be a hero, heroine, scenery, something will be there. The child will be curious to see that who is the hero, heroine, director's name, which is place, how many shows, theatre name. So much information we can provide on posters. Posters are very useful visuals, while we can utilize this in the classroom. That it creates general motivation among the students. It should have aesthetic sense. What is aesthetic sense? It should be colorful, catchy. Child has to learn very easily from that poster. As soon as he looks into, he has to understand what poster is telling. To communicate with general ideas, that will be very in a jiffy, means within seconds child is able to grasp any idea in a whole with the help of these posters. For the classroom and community we can utilize these posters. Preparation, it requires a special job. It is to promote one point. It supports local demonstration. Should be well planned, and specifically we should think about and prepare these posters. What should be there, what are the main features, what should be the color, how many items should be there on that poster, what all we can draw, what all we can show to the child. We have to use bold colors, then pleasing colors. Pleasing colors means which should be very good, that visual should be good looking. It should catch attention of the audience. They have to see and perceive the information very easily. Features of good poster: message, all the message should be very crisp, concise, simple. It should be, message should be simple. Whenever you see a poster, it should be understandable. The theme, main idea for that poster what we are giving, it should be legible. Color also, suited colors should be there. Then we have to see contrast or whatever it may be, it should be nice colors, and display will be good, legible. So advantages: it attracts attention, it conveys the message very quickly, it does not require a detailed study. Good poster leads to action with good motivation. It can stand alone, it is self-explanatory. Any poster if we prepare, we have to think about what should be there, it should be simple, crisp, and it should grab the attention. Maps. A map is a graphic aid representing the proportionately as a diagram the surface of the earth, world parts. Means map should be drawn on scale. it contains lines, symbols, words and colors. Seas are water bodies are depicted with blue color, trees, forests are depicted with green color, other continents, places, they are depicted in different colors. There are different types of maps. Political maps, it shows political division of the world, continents and nations. Physical map, it shows the physical area, specifically place and region, that is called as physical map. Relief map, it shows the actual elevation and depression in a place, area and region. Weather maps, every day we are watching on the TVs, weather forecast, rain, temperature, extremes, humidity, all these are called as weather maps. Population maps, distribution of population in various parts of the region and country. Then railway maps, air maps, sea route maps, these are belongs to their own departments, like railways, they have their own railway pathways, various points, railway links between stations, like that. These are the different types of maps. Cartoons. The word cartoon has various meanings based on several forms. It is a visual art and illustrations. The term cartoon, whenever we see a cartoon, it is a humorous caricature which gives a kind of message, and whenever we see a cartoon we get a kind of laugh. Okay. In a cartoon features, we have to utilize these cartoons in the classroom to make them understand abstract ideas. We have to prepare these cartoons, we have to consider some of these points. The quality of the drawing should be high, primarily for visual effectiveness. It should be clear and familiar cartoons we utilize to give some message, something. Then it can be used for making lesson lively and interesting. The child will be very interested if Spider-Man comes to a class and explains some concept. Okay, the child is interested to see that first that Spider-Man, then what he is saying, the child shows a kind of curiosity and interest, and it motivates the child to learn. Comic strips, these are also graphic aids, is series of pictures put in a series of pictures. We have to arrange them in a logical order, or we can put a dialogue below those cartoons, and it should be like a story narrating or storytelling or something which is related to that teaching learning material. Then child is easy to understand and learn with the help of that comic strip. The medium of communication should be quite interesting and exciting. The child should not lose his interest while reading this comic or cartoon. Comic strips fire the imagination of children. Next, what will happen? What will be the next step? The child knowledge also enhances, and that it creates a kind of enthusiasm to learn. It boosts the courage of the child and it builds the spirit of adventure. Its communication should be very much detailed. It stimulates reality and involvement of the child will be more. Three-dimensional aids, 3D aids, models. Model is a recognizable representation of real thing. 3 dimensions are called as it has height, width and depth. So, in reality it has 3 dimensions, all the objects are 3 dimensional. There are types of models: solid models, cutaway models, working models, sand models. Different types of models we can prepare. Model is heighten reality of things and make learning direct and meaningful, as they are 3 dimensional. Model illustrates the application side of certain principles and laws. Models explains the complex and abstract things. It can be simplified in a way. Then models are lasting. We can utilize these models as a teaching aids. Models are very reasonable to utilize in the classroom. They are very handy, less expensive also, where we utilize all the 5 senses. Limitations: it requires expertise to make and time consuming, and some of the models are very expensive. If you are able to make with the low cost material, models are very much effective. Objects and specimens: a collection of real thing for instructional use refers to object. A specimen is sample of the real object or material. Using objects and specimens: while using the specimens and objects as a teaching aid, teacher has to keep certain things in her mind. So, specimen is in a frozen condition or in a formaldehyde condition. We have to plan beforehand what are the observations child has to make on that object or on the specimen. We have to ask certain type of questions to elicit answers from the child. We show those specimens in the classroom and ask the child what color it is, how it looks, what it is, find some observations and ask some key points from the child. We have to get information from the child, then child will observe it very keenly. That is the main object of these specimens. Okay, it clarifies and gives correct information. These are it gives very fine detail of that specimen. Child has to observe very keenly. Sources of these objects and specimens: from the local market or factories, manufacturers, we can find these specimens. Then same type of specimens are available. Even real fruits, that is a real object. Object is real. If you bring an apple to the classroom, that is real time real objects. Specimens are we can make with the help of wax or whatever other material. Some kind these material we can find in the markets. Plaster of Paris also we can prepare these objects and specimens. Wild flowers, leaves, shells, stones, butterflies, insects, they can collect and make it as a specimen. Child also can do all these specimens. Then advantages of these objects and specimens: collection of objects and specimens by students require interaction with others, leading to development of social skills and values. Then students' power of observation, it increases. This is called as first hand experience. Child goes and collects some shells, flowers, all this means he is going and seeing that tree or whatever it may be and observes very keenly and understand very well. Then student can collect personal collections like objects, shells, coins, all these. It is quite interesting for the child. They will collect, oh, I have these many number of different countries, currencies, coins, all these are very interested to collect by the child. Objects and specimens involves all the 5 senses in the process of learning. It heightens the reality in the classroom. It makes the teaching learning process very lively. The child shows a kind of very much curiosity and interest. Then activity aids. There are certain learning situations in which students' participation is much more important. Then they will have thorough and direct experience. It can be easily incorporated with the help of these activity aids. The activity teaching aids are really having a great value. They put the students in the role of active. They are the active seekers of knowledge. They will participate actively in the classroom with the help of these teaching aids. That is why these are called as activity aids. Activity aids listed below are field trips, demonstrations, experiments, dramatizations. Field trips, where we can go for a tour. So many times students will be asking, teacher, this year we go for a tour or some place to visit something, to then we can take them to these educational tours. We can say them as field trips. Enhances the child's knowledge. He himself travels to that particular place and learns about whatever is available over there. For example, if they go to public garden, different types of plants they will observe. If they go to particular geographical place like 𝗧𝗦𝗔𝗧 Hills or Araku, they will come to know about the geography of that place and particular to which height they are there in that place, what are the rainfall, all these geography, weather conditions they will come to know with the help of these field trips. They are visiting that natural environment. So, there are different types of field trips: local school trips, community trips, educational trips, natural hunt, visiting all the places, different types of places to get first hand experience. So, field trips provide learning experiences in the real life situations by direct contact with the objects, processes and systems. So, the child is able to learn so many things with the information whatever is available with those objects. He is able to process his knowledge, understand very well with the help of these real life setting. It provides meaningful direct experiences. So, it will be the long lasting and permanent memory. It goes to the permanent memory. They will remember these type of field trips or tours. Whenever they go, they will remember very well and they are able to retrieve or recall whenever it is required, because it is a first hand experience for the child. So, the child will learn very effectively. Field trips are valuable aids for the students. They are very curious to understand this natural setting or objects or whatever available over there. Then field trips can effectively supplement the classroom teaching learning process. So, child will have first hand experience. Child will never forget whenever he observes in a natural setting. Limitations of field trips. A field trip may be occasional activity. We can every day we can't go to the field trip or some places, but it supplements knowledge. Learning will be more effective, but at the same time consuming. We have to organize, but poor students cannot afford to come every time for that field trip. It is little bit expensive, but we have to arrange them in a properly, otherwise it is difficult to handle the children in a particular place, unknown place or whatever it may be. We have to be very conscious about all the things, and very particularly we have to arrange time, place. We have to specifically only for the children, not in the crowd. We should not take children into the big crowds where children do not get much attention and they will not learn anything. Demonstrations. Demonstration method is concrete visual aid. It is widely used in the classroom, then laboratories, classes, in symposia, everywhere we can do these demonstrations, experimentation in the classroom, especially in social studies, in social science lab we utilize these demonstrations. Child has to do certain type of experimentation and learn. These demonstrations can be done in a small group, large groups we cannot do. Advantages of these demonstrations: it is child actively participate in the demonstrations, then it activates several senses, it enhances the learning, it gives better opportunity for the child will be doing certain things and learning. It clarifies his doubts. The underlying principle is how to do, what will come, what is the result of it. The child will explore his knowledge. It provokes interest by doing these demonstrations. Then we have to do these demonstrations on concrete illustrations only. Abstract things child may not be able to understand. So, while demonstrating we have to explain along with the demonstration. Then we have to correlate theory into practice also. It engages child's attention, child will be engaged in that demonstration. It increases concentration and child will be encouraged to do such type of activity. Child will be participating actively in the classroom while we are doing demonstration, or he himself will do the demonstration with the help of teacher. So, here child will be doing that activity. So, these are called as activity aids. Child will be learning by doing it. So, at the end of the demonstration we have to put certain type of question. What did you learn, what is the procedure, what did you do first, next what is the end result of it. Then child is able to understand because he is doing that demonstration and participating very actively. Experiment is also a kind of learning activity. Student collects and interpret his observation, he collects data and observation he makes and then interprets and draws the conclusion. Okay. In science this is mostly utilized, but in social sciences also, like for example a kind of experimentation we can give, whether forecast whatever it may be, 3 days or 10 days, 1 month, or compare the results in month of May how was the temperature, in month of June what it is, in month of July. Then child is able to observe, write, then concentrate much on his conclusion and find out the results. So, in experimentation we require apparatus, then procedure, some methodology we have to follow, observation of data, then child has to understand whatever he observed, then finally results, conclusion, then precautions should be taken. Whatever he has done, what are all observations he made, he has to conclude, put it in a form, means final summarization sheet. Then that experiment results are out. It is in a sequence. Child has to think about what type of experiment he has to do, apparatus required, then methodology, what to observe he has to think, then finally after observing totaling all that and finally concluding the writing concluding remarks and results. This is the experimentation. So, here also child participates very actively, child shows keen interest and learns very enthusiastically. This is a first hand experience for the child. Next one is dramatization. Dramatization is a very potent method of keeping the classroom instruction lively and interesting. When a teacher dramatizes a lesson, the students becomes both the spectators and participants. This makes learning easy and permanent. Sometimes child can enact in this dramatization. Advantages of dramatization. Dramatization gives an added advantage of students working as both observers and doers. Sometimes we can ask the child to perform that. Dramatization makes learner more pleasurable. Children love to do certain type of action and show off. Then dramatization involves students totally, they appreciate that lesson and they remember well also. Dramatization develop the social skills required for them, such as like cooperation, coordination, punctuality and human relations. These are essential nowadays. Cooperation, coordination, punctuality and human relations are maintained. Dramatization makes students creative, sensitive and alert.
ఓకే. సో ఎగ్జామ్కి ఈ గురుకుల ఎగ్జామ్ ప్రిపేర్ అయ్యే వాళ్ళు దీనికి సంబంధించి ఎలా ప్రిపేర్ అయితే బాగుంటుంది, అంటే ఏమేమి వాళ్ళకి కవర్ అవుతాయి, క్వశ్చన్స్ ఎలా వస్తాయి?
ఈ గురుకుల ఎగ్జామ్స్ అప్లికేషన్ టైప్ క్వశ్చన్స్ మోస్ట్లీ మెయిన్స్ కాబట్టి దే హ్యావ్ టు ఫోకస్ in detail particularly about all these teaching aids which are effective in the classroom. Recent teaching aids, ICT is very much important these days. They have one topic, I think, ICT in social sciences. ICT is nothing but utilization of this technology, YouTube, mobile and other videos, audio, then games and sports also. Games are available to play and learn certain concepts. With the help of these concepts, these AV8 child is able to learn, which are more effective. Then comics, cartoons also very important in teaching learning process. Then based on these questions will be